Hi, this is Love from Hanging Out with Love. Thank you so much for being here and welcome back to my channel. If you are not subscribed, please go ahead and click that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the like button as well. And also make sure that you are following me on both Instagram and Facebook at Hanging Out with Love. So this video is about putting yourself out there. Now, I know there are a ton of women who have never been in a committed relationship. They have barely dated, and when they have, it was poor experiences. And the way they met was not your typical guy meets a girl type of out and about scenario. They were meeting people that they knew in a classroom or on some type of sports team, you know, their friend's brother, but it was never a man approaching them and formally courting them and getting to know them as men typically should, right? So those people skills, those interpersonal skills are lacking, and a lot of women honestly just feel awkward when it comes to talking to men and getting to know them. So I have a few recommendations for you all, and I would also like to mention that it is time for you to get out there. So if you have not, today's the day. All right, gotta get some practice in there, have to get some practical, what we call practical experience. And if you listen to that word practical, practice is that base word. So practice is the practical experience. You have to actually go out, you have to date, you have to interact, have conversations, and get to know what you're dealing with. And ultimately, through that process, you're going to learn a lot about yourself. Now, I know when you watch some of my videos or some other women and men's videos about hypergamy, they talk about getting to know yourself and what you want. Do you want an extremely lavish lifestyle? You know, you want to date a millionaire. You want to date someone who you will not have to work if you are married, and when you have children, you can have that, right? But you have to put yourself in position to get it. And if you're not going out, you won't have that. Or maybe you are more like me, where the man doesn't have to have a ton of money. I personally would love to date someone who makes 6 figures a year and is still able to sustain a family and also vacations and things that I want. I'm not really the person that needs to go on shopping sprees every weekend and, you know, just live this lavish lifestyle where I have 10 maids in the house, and that's just not me. I'm just not that type of person. I'm very simple. And so in order to figure out what you want, you have to date and have these experiences. If you've never had a man spoil you, if you don't even know what that feels like, would you be able to handle it? Would you honestly be able to say, I can fall back and allow this man to fully take care of me if you've never had that, right? Because to be completely honest with you, when you don't have that mentality, it will be very difficult for you to adhere to. Namely, because when you have an independent mentality and you have the mentality that you don't need a man, and I say both of those because just because a woman is independent, that doesn't necessarily mean that she doesn't feel like she needs a man. So for instance, I am a single woman. I live by myself, so I am independent, right? I don't have anyone else's finances being invested into me at the moment. I don't have anyone that I'm dating and things of that nature. So I am independent because I am taking care of myself, and you definitely should be independent. But when you're too independent to where you have this masculine presence around you who wants to contribute and you cannot accept that, that becomes an issue. And so no matter how many concepts we discuss on this channel, it is integral that you begin to practice and get to know what you actually like, and then also make sure that throughout this dating process you're not accepting things that you don't want. Because if you are self-aware If you have had a little bit more experience and you're like, I think I do know exactly what I want from men. I want someone who's able to provide. I know that I'm able to accept and handle a provider. I know my role as a feminine woman, to keep myself up, take care of my body, make sure that I am eating healthy, make sure that I am not adding extra stress to this man who has to go out and make this money for myself and a future family, right? And so once you get to that point, you have to keep those goals at the forefront. A lot of women say that they want a certain type of man, and then they get a man, and then all bets are off. They don't care what he has brought to the table. They don't care that this man is not exactly what they want. They just feel like, okay, I have a man now, so I'm willing to compromise on some things. And you have to decide for yourself what your non-negotiables are. But those non-negotiables come from experience, right? And not just simply listening to videos and reading books, which, don't get me wrong, I love it when you all buy my books. I love it when you share your feedback. One of my best sellers is The Art of Finesse, where I teach women how to date older men, how to interact with them, how to speak to them, the importance of respecting a man, because that is what men need. Men need respect, women need love, right? And so I also cover just not being desperate, having a life of your own. Don't feel like you have to cling to this individual, and be up on their every move. Busy men do not like that. Of course, as a woman, you want to be affectionate and you want to be caring, because that's the part of a man that you bring out, right? That is something that you are able to bring to the relationship, whereas he's more of the solid foundation and more of a logical thinker. We have that nurturing, creative type of emotional side to things. And again, through experience, that's what you are able to develop and grow more. In addition to that, this is not a one-size-fits-all approach, right? So every man is different. There are certain things at the core of who a man is that are the same, but every man is different. People have different love languages. People have different cultures. And so what he deems as appropriate for a woman may be completely different than what you're being taught or what you think is correct, right? And so if you never put yourself out there, you won't know this. And there are a lot of women who say that they would like to date men of other cultures, which I think is enlightening, but you have to be abreast of those changes. You have to know what you're doing and what you're getting yourself into. And ultimately, the only way to do that is by A, doing some research, and then B, applying that knowledge, because knowledge without application is absolutely useless. One of the challenges that I have for you all, if you do not feel comfortable with going out right now, right this very moment, in dating, is download a dating app. Have some conversations with men. Talk on the phone. Get to know people via FaceTime or Google Duo. But have some conversations and figure out if you even have skills. Men know when women are timid, socially awkward, and some of them don't really have a problem with it, but men value confidence just across the board. That's just a generic statement. Men value confidence. And so when you're able to have a conversation with a man and know who you are as a woman, feel confident in what you're saying and in the messages that you're conveying, it makes him respect you more. It makes him a little bit more intrigued as to who this beautiful, feminine, confident woman is. And I think a lot of times there are some misconceptions regarding being feminine, and a lot of people don't feel like you can be confident as a feminine woman, but that is furthest from the truth, right? So you don't want to be domineering. That's not your role. But confident has to do with the way you carry yourself, the way you think about yourself, that self-love, that attitude, because how you feel about yourself is going to come out in conversation in the way you interact with men. So let's say you know you're socially awkward, you are leading with that mentality when you're interacting with men. So why not have conversations, get to know men better, practice so that you can limit that social awkwardness. The only way is to practice. In addition to that, hire a coach. There are a lot of different lifestyle coaches, speech coaches who can help you if you know that you're socially awkward. And I know there are a lot of people out there who just are not willing to pay for certain types of training. But when you are leading with timidity, when you are leading with scarcity, when you are leading in fear, those are not things that you want to emit when you are trying to attract a partner, right? Because that's how you can attract predatory men who are like, oh, she doesn't really know herself, she doesn't know her worth, so let me prey on her, right? And don't allow that to deter you from engaging with anyone, but just be mindful that the only way to know yourself better and the only way for you to get better is if you apply the knowledge that you're learning. And then again, just hire a coach. If you know you have an issue with that, do a quick Google search, look at some people in your area, look at their websites, check them out, look at the reviews, and figure out who can best assist you on this journey, okay? So I hoped all of that helped you. Thank you again so much for being on my channel. Again, click that subscribe button. Make sure that you're following me at Hanging Out with Love on all platforms. And I will see you in the next video. Bye, ladies.